For decades, nutrition science has focused almost exclusively on the composition of our meals. However, a new field called chrononutrition suggests that the timing of those meals is often more significant for our long-term health. We are going to look at the biology of your internal clocks, from the mandatory reset signal provided by breakfast to the hidden risks of popular fasting trends, and conclude with a daily protocol to optimize your metabolism. Your body's master brain clock is set by daylight, while peripheral clocks in the liver, heart, and skeletal muscles are regulated by food. Shift work or late-night snacking sends conflicting data. The brain perceives daylight, while the gut receives midnight calories, causing internal desynchronization. Animal studies have demonstrated the severity of this mismatch. When subjects are given the exact same number of calories, but fed during their natural rest phase rather than their active phase, they rapidly develop obesity and metabolic disease. This evidence suggests that eating against your natural rhythm forces your organs to process fuel when they are programmed for recovery. Over time, this chronic metabolic strain contributes to the onset of metabolic syndrome. Every morning, sunlight hitting the brain's suprachiasmatic nucleus acts as the primary signal to set your master clock for the day ahead. Biologists refer to these signals as Zeitgebers or time givers. While your brain uses light to navigate the day-night cycle, your peripheral organs are shielded from the sun and require a different time-giving signal. Breakfast serves as this ultimate peripheral signal. It is the specific trigger required to wake up your body's metabolic machinery. To effectively reset the dial on your organ clocks, your body needs two specific chemical inputs. Carbohydrates trigger insulin, while proteins, specifically the amino acid cysteine, trigger signals like IGF-1 and glucagon. Together, they synchronize the system to zero. Skipping this meal leaves your body's timekeeping system confused. This habit is consistently linked to lower physical performance and a higher risk of weight gain, a trend clearly observed globally during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Ultimately, bypassing breakfast deprives your metabolic engine of its critical daily starting signal, leaving your internal organs out of sync with your brain. During your active midday hours, eating activates nutrient-sensing signals like mTOR. These signals communicate directly with the clock genes that generate your 24-hour biological rhythms. This leads to the principle of caloric distribution. Because your peripheral clocks regulate metabolic efficiency based on the time of day, a calorie consumed in the active morning is processed very differently than a calorie consumed at midnight. This timing also applies to chrono exercise. Frequent 2-minute bursts of walking suppress glucose spikes more effectively than a single long workout. This chart highlights a scientific caution regarding popular fasting methods. The horizontal axis tracks daily eating window hours, and the vertical tracks mortality risk, creating a clear U-shape. Anomalously, windows shorter than 8 hours elevate mortality and biological aging risks, especially if poorly timed. The placement of your eating window relative to your sleep cycle determines its impact on longevity, more than the total number of hours you spend fasting. As you approach the evening, your metabolic rate naturally declines. Eating within 2 hours of sleep is a major driver of cardiovascular disease because it forces the liver and heart to remain active when they should be transitioning to a rest state. Instead of extreme daytime restriction, many researchers advocate for sleep-aligned fasting as a more sustainable, biologically sound approach. The protocol is simple. You extend the natural overnight fast by stopping all food intake at least 3 hours before you go to bed. This graphic shows the physiological result of that 3-hour buffer. Nighttime blood pressure drops by roughly 3.5%, and heart rate falls by 5%, allowing for a deeper state of recovery during sleep. Late-night inputs of high fat and caffeine actively lengthen your circadian period, while high salt intake shifts your peripheral clock genes. Both interfere with the cardiovascular system's ability to power down. For sleep to be truly restorative, your digestive system must be offline. This allows your heart and metabolism to enter their required maintenance phase. You can begin realigning your biological clocks tomorrow by adopting 3 foundational habits. First, establish regularity. Keeping your meal times consistent every day provides the stable signals your organ clocks need to remain in sync with your brain. Second, prioritize morning nutrition. Consume a balanced breakfast with protein and carbohydrates to reset your daily rhythm. ensuring that your morning intake is larger than your evening meal. Third, follow the 3-hour rule. Stop eating and dim the lights in your environment 3 hours before bed to facilitate the natural dip in blood pressure and heart rate that occurs during sleep. Health is a state of biological harmony. By treating your body as a master timekeeper and aligning your meals with its natural rhythms, you support the internal systems that allow you to age better, feel better, and live longer.